Political rivalry in Israel, it's now reached the courtrooms. Opposition leader Yair Lapid is expected to give a testimony against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a criminal trial. This case dates back to 2013 when Lapid was serving as a finance minister under Netanyahu. Prosecutors claim Netanyahu sought an extension to an existing law that allows 10-year tax exemption for returning Israelis on their income earned abroad. The Israeli Prime Minister is accused of accepting expensive gifts from Israeli Hollywood producer in exchange for this legislative favor. Netanyahu accused of receiving luxury goods including cigars, champagne, jewelry. The police has dubbed the case as Case 1000. Lawyers representing Netanyahu say the Prime Minister was unaware that his wife was receiving gifts. According to the charges, Netanyahu approached Lapid on 2 occasions in the same matter and he allegedly sought support for the extending of this policy. Reports suggest the plan would have saved American millions of dollars. Meanwhile, this is not the only legal action awaiting Netanyahu. The Israeli Prime Minister faces similar charges of fraud and breach of trust in another case that's been dubbed as Case 2000 and charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust in Case 4000. Netanyahu is denied any wrongdoing. He says all of these cases, they're part of a political witch hunt against him. Now, for more on this, we're being joined by correspondent Jody Cohen from Raihanana. Thank you so much for joining us, Jody.
Hi, Ham.
What can you tell us about the latest on what's going on with Lapid testifying in court as part of the criminal trial against Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Yes, so this is certainly a high drama occasion in Israel on Monday with former Prime Minister and now head of the opposition, Yair Lapid, testifying against the current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in one of his 3 court cases, with commentators saying that this will bring their political rivalry into the courtroom. Remember, Lapid was behind the Rak Lo Bibi, the Just Not Bibi campaign against Netanyahu, which started in 2017 at the time of the investigations against Netanyahu. Now, there are demonstrations in front of the courthouse, both for and against Netanyahu, as Lapid begins his appearance. Lapid is testifying in Case 1000. Now, this is the case that accuses Netanyahu of fraud and breach of trust, with Lapid alleging that Netanyahu tried to convince him to support a change in the law when Lapid was finance minister in 2013. And Netanyahu is accused of supporting a legal amendment which would have benefited his ally Arnon Milchan and Israelis returning from living abroad, allegedly in exchange for luxury gifts. Now, Netanyahu, of course, as you said, argues that all cases against him are fabricated to try to unseat him as Prime Minister.
Right, Jody, and just to understand this better, over the 3 days of his testimony, what is expected and how crucial is the evidence that he will be providing?
So Lapid is going to be taken to the witness stand for the prosecution and will also be cross-examined by the defense team. The prosecution alleges that the Netanyahus received luxury goods from Milchan, like cigars, I should say gifts, like cigars, champagne and jewelry, in exchange for trying to pass tax amendments that would have saved Milchan millions of dollars. And Lapid says he refused the request from the Prime Minister and Milchan to pass this legislation. Now, the defense argues that Netanyahu was unaware that his wife received these gifts from Milchan, and Netanyahu's also said that he didn't discuss the legal matter with Lapid because Lapid had a conflict of interest because of his friendship with Milchan. And we know that Lapid declared in his conflict of interest agreement when he became finance minister that he'd worked with Milchan in the past, and there are reportedly family connections between the Lapids and the Milchans. So We've got 2 more days of testimony from Lapid, and it remains to be seen what the ramifications will be, both within the courtroom and also politically.
Right. Well, Jody, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.